A terrified mum has told how she cried as she waited 7 hours for an ambulance to help her daughter who was struggling to breathe. Hannah May found her daughter Scarlett Silk was having difficulty breathing in the early hours of Monday morning for the second time this year due to croup, which can give children a harsh cough. She called the non-emergency number 101, and she says they were more than concerned at her daughter's breathing, respiratory rate and her high temperature. The mum says the caller told her to call an ambulance immediately and her initial call was made just before 2 a.m., according to Lincolnshire Live. But after 2 hours, she received a phone call advising her to go to her local A&E, an hour's drive away. She said she told the caller, "No, because what would I do if she stopped breathing halfway into the 60-minute journey it would take to get her to our nearest hospital?" The ambulance service told her they were very busy, she says. "I was petrified," she told Lincolnshire Live. "It's the second time she has been like this and the second time I have been failed by medical services. I hoped for an appointment at out of hours but they declined and told me that she needed an ambulance. I waited all that time with her. I let her sleep and kept checking her temperature right through to 41.7. I was scared. Everything ran through my head. I've dealt with febrile convulsions before but it's still scary." Evidence shows that if a child's temperature reaches 42.5, then they can suffer brain damage from it. She was so close to this. "I spent the whole night beside her tearful and crying and it continued for a further 4 days. The fear of your child's life in your hands is so scary, especially when there's no medical support." An ambulance crew finally arrived 7 hours later just before 8:50 am. "Fuming was an understatement," she said. "But it wasn't their fault. I'm not saying it was and they were more than apologetic and couldn't believe that she had been left this long." She, the paramedic, then proceeded to tell me that the ambulance she was in was the only ambulance that was on that night. "I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my entire life." She continued, "When is the government going to put any money into our NHS system, or aren't they? It's ridiculous, they can't cut everything. One ambulance is bad but without a local hospital to attend it's horrendous. This situation could have been very different. When is it going to stop? We need to speak up and we need to speak loud. This is our children, our families, our friends, and our lives at risk daily because of cuts." Paul Litherland, ambulance operations manager for Lincolnshire, said, "We are extremely sorry that the service we provided to Hannah and her daughter has clearly fallen short of the high standard our patients should expect. We aim to respond to every patient with the right clinically appropriate response. We will do everything we can to understand what happened and have asked Hannah to share her experience with us via our patient experience team. We hope her daughter is feeling better soon." A hospital spokesman for ULHT said, "The A&E department at Grantham is not able to deal with all types of emergencies. Therefore, we have had in place for some time an agreement with GPs and the ambulance service about the types of conditions that should not be brought to Grantham Hospital as an emergency. These include many conditions involving children. If the ambulance team had thought the little girl needed hospital treatment she would never, regardless of the time of day, have been taken to Grantham and would instead have gone to a neighboring hospital.